Welcome to the Fitfiliate Podcast, where with honesty and transparency, we talk about all things fitness, coaching, and gym ownership, so that you can feel less crazy and frustrated and alone, while you also find more freedom and make more money.
And we're back with the Fitfiliate Podcast, and today we're chatting to Nathan from CrossFit Branson. How you going, Nate?
Good. How are you, Lisa?
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about CrossFit Branson, where you are, what you do.
Sure. All right. Yeah. CrossFit affiliate in Branson, Missouri. We've been established since 2012. I bought the business in 2016 after being a member, then turned coach, then turned affiliate owner, which if you're listening to this, you probably have possibly been on that trail, that track the same. And that's how I kind of got started at CrossFit in general. In around 2009, I was in the Coast Guard, and
cool.
Fitness wasn't a huge part of my life, or at least I didn't think it was, but I was very active, being in the military. And then all before that, I was a avid, outdoors person, and not like a hunter and fisherman, but more like a mountain biker, snowboarder type. And so I used those things, and that was my personality. And I thought I used those things to keep me fit. Joined the Coast Guard, and I kind of kept doing those things. And the military also has their own regiments of fitness as well. And I think at one point I was stuck at a small boat station for 3 days at a time, and had to utilize the small gym that they had there. And I would work out with a couple buddies, and one of the buddies introduced me to CrossFit at the time. And this was like 2009. Have you ever heard of it? And so I got online, CrossFit.com, and I started doing the .com workouts and reading the journal and looking at the photos and thinking that I must be doing it wrong because it was kicking my ass. I'm like, this isn't right. Because I thought I was fit, how every 24-year-old kid feels like, and come to find out, like, no, I was just doing it right. And got out of the Coast Guard, did some traveling, moved back home, and that's actually when I even and that was around 2011, and that's when I actually learned that there was even affiliates. I didn't even realize there was actual CrossFit gyms. I thought it was just all online. And would make an hour drive to Springfield, Missouri, to go to CrossFit Springfield.
Wow.
And then I was going to college at the time too, and I was a volunteer firefighter, so I had a lot of time on my hands. But I would go to the gym, the CrossFit gym, and then immediately go to the climbing gym right after it. And then CrossFit took over my life once they opened one here in my hometown. And I started going there and didn't have to make the drive up to Springfield anymore, and just fell in love with it. All my other kind of passions kind of went to the side, and I just stuck with CrossFit. Got my level 1 in 2014, CrossFit TNT. Now I have my level 3, and I'm waiting for that level 4 to come out.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people, I think, are waiting for that one. I'm keen to see what it's going to involve and how it's going to, be assessed and evolve. So it's just part of the natural progression.
I thought I heard that of what it was like. It's like you have to coach in front of, staff, and I've done the coaches development program out when CrossFit Reebok 1 was doing it. And I think
Denise.
Denise and Austin were out there doing that. And so I would imagine maybe it's similar to something like that even. I'm not sure, but that was really cool experience.
Pick a generic place and have you go coach people that you don't know necessarily. So that'll be cool. So, in your time, you became been involved in CrossFit since the early days, even just following it online and stuff. As you moved through your journey, what was it that made you, your why behind wanting to become a coach and to, then to have your affiliate? Like, what's the your why behind, CrossFit Branson and for you for doing what you do?
It's definitely evolved over time, and the guys Chuck and Tony at Fit Affiliate have definitely helped me figure that out. And it's not. I don't think it's always apparent right off the bat to some people. I think I knew I always was going to be some sort of teacher or instructor. When I was getting out of the Coast Guard, I was actually looking into going into a program called National Outdoor Leadership School, or NOLS, and I believe they have they host all over the world, but kids come from college and get college semester credits, but they're involved in like snowboarding and sailing and climbing and mountaineering and skiing and the whole 9 yards. And I was very passionate about those things and thought they have a leadership program where you go through and become an instructor. And so, I always thought I was going to go kind of that direction, maybe even open a climbing gym and teach rock climbing. And again, I found CrossFit and it took over all those passions, and then realized that I actually could help way more people in a CrossFit gym than I could in a climbing gym. I feel like, as niche as maybe CrossFit is, climbing, rock climbing is even more so. And you don't see a lot of people that are really needing fitness in their life, whether they're overweight, they have other health issues, older populations, things of that nature. You don't really see them going to a climbing gym to improve those things. So I slowly kind of found that out about myself and about the gym, that, wow, I could actually have a lot more of an impact. And I've kind of always been in that role kind of by accident. A kid in high school, I was a lifeguard. Then I joined the Coast Guard, and then became, after that I was a firefighter. So kind of just fell into those kind of roles in the first
Serving
place.
roles.
Yeah, serving roles, and not thinking anything of it really, just thinking like, this is who I am and what I enjoy doing. And Chuck and Tony have helped really start to create that into a why for me. And now it's very, very apparent that of why I have the gym, and it's definitely to help people live their life, to help them enjoy their life, to help them have as much freedom in their life as they possibly can, and not letting their health hold them back from anything.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I think most people when we open our affiliates, it's kind of that, well, as one person, I can only help so many people, but if I open the doors and we can, have many, many more people that we can genuinely help and care for. So that's awesome. And working like I do, which is how we met through Fit Affiliate, and really clarifying that why can be quite a powerful activity to do, and keep refining it and keep being reminded of what the why is a lot of the time. So if we're looking at, your history in owning the affiliate, and it's probably going to be hard for you to narrow this down to like one thing, what do you think your biggest win has been since you've, been involved, since you've owned CrossFit Branson, the biggest win for you?
To have the doors still open after 10 years.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a labor of love, and that's why I've reached out to Fit Affiliate to help keep the doors open, because of how important I know this whole thing is. And not giving up on it, not quitting. So that's the same thing as keeping the doors open, just not quitting on it, because I know how important it is. I would say that is for me personally, the biggest thing, because I have a tendency to like throw my arms up and be like, I'm out, I'm moving on, I'm doing something different. But establishing that why has kept me coming back and fighting for this. So I think, keeping the doors open, now I haven't owned it for 10 years, but essentially, it was established in 2012 and I took over, and, this year will be its 10th year, in some sort of fashion of being CrossFit Branson. So I'd say that would be a pretty big win.
Yeah, and particularly over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess a bit like you, I would always like, no, that's it, close the doors, I'm out, I've had enough. But when we got closed for the lockdown period in COVID, and I had to hand out the gear to members and roll down the doors, I was like, okay, I'm not ready for this to be done. Like, I'm not ready for this to happen. I was like, and it really cemented for me that, why and the way, the tribe came together. I know it did for a lot of affiliates around the place, but that really does cement that. And like you, I bought an affiliate, and we're 10 this year as well. I haven't had it for 10 years, but you sort of think, well, we're not small in the space, and it's, you think about all the lives that affiliate legacy has changed, and that's definitely a big win that you can chalk up for sure. You've impacted a lot of lives in many ways.
That's
Mostly
essentially
positive.
why I when I met Chuck and Tony for Fit Affiliate was during COVID, during our shutdown, and I was questioning whether I was going to give it another go, another shot. We lost 25% of our membership, and I'm like, maybe I just don't even go back. And they really started around that time. I've been following a little bit, but it seemed like I was following them even more that summer. And I'd had experience with mentors in the past, and it hadn't really worked, and nothing would change. Some improvements here and there, but nothing like with the guys. And I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna give up on this yet. And so
that's awesome. And that's that's the power of having people in your corner who not just genuinely invested in the business, but invested in like Nathan the person, and helping you understand that if you don't feel good about what you're doing and how you're doing it, then the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. It's all going to fall away.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about Fit Affiliate, we've both been involved with them for quite a while now. We talk a lot in Fit Affiliate about the 4 freedoms that through entrepreneurship and business ownership, we want to be able to have, and that's time, relationships, money, and freedom of purpose, so that we can do the things that we want to do. How do you feel like you're, like, through your work in the affiliate and that you're developing in those 4 freedoms? Like, what's the most powerful sort of change that you've experienced?
Yeah, I mean, I really cherish my freedom. I've was wannabe nomad for a long time, being in the kind of outdoor scene and community. You hear of long trips and adventures and expeditions, and the whole van life is as popular as is now. I've been involved and seen that over the course of the last 20 years. Have always I've always wanted to live in a van down by the river.
Well, if you follow your Instagram, you'll see that you spend a lot of time down there.
Yeah, in a sort of van down by the river.
Yeah,
and
sort of.
So and Chuck and Tony, speaking of like getting to know Nathan, have learned that about me, and have made sure that they are reminding me of why I'm doing, and what I'm doing because of why I'm doing it. And so the biggest thing they've tried to help me with is keeping my freedom protected, and focusing me on delegating the roles to others, and getting out of my way of growing the business, and respecting that. And so that's been one of the biggest changes with them that I've seen, is getting me to relinquish my hats and give responsibility to other people, to continue to have the freedom that I want. Will I ever be able to live in the back of the truck for 6 months at a time? I don't know. I have a 1-year-old now, so I can't completely go nomad Nate on her, but maybe I'd take her with me, and still have the gym running. And so that could be a goal. That could be something that I work towards now. And at first it was like, no, you're stuck here forever. And now you start to see light at the end of the tunnel on, wow, I do have these freedoms and the things that I'm working for is staying in track with that.
Yep. How did you find that process of delegating stuff out and learning to let go of things and empower other people to do and trust them to do the things that you needed done, that you could then go, hey, I'm going in the van today, I'm going to spend the day down by the river with my 1-year-old and be okay with that?
Through actually doing it. So just like we would tell any of our clients that come in the door, and they look for motivation or they need more motivation, or they don't seem that they can get themselves off the couch and actually do something about it because they don't have any motivation. Well, none of that comes without doing. So the challenge would be from them to actually, hey, by this time next week, you need to have this person in this role, and them holding me accountable. So with that accountability, I felt forced to be like, hey, I might not feel like this person is going to be able to do this job as good as I can, but they've challenged me, and I'm going to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone, just like we would challenge any of our clients in working out. And I would just put somebody in the role whether I liked it or not. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it was a bad choice of a person I put in a role. And, but when it does work, you're like, oh, this is why I'm going to keep doing this, because this is the way, this is what I need to do. You're always going to have, this is not the best fit for the job for this person, and you just find a new person. But yeah, actually just doing the thing, just putting a person to coach, putting a person to answer the phone, putting a person to clean, and actually just hiring them to do it, and then stepping back and then go enjoy yourself, and then come back like, oh, the floors get clean. Oh, they did get clean. Oh, okay, it worked. And just creating that action, just doing it.
Yep.
And the only way that happened is with them holding me accountable. And they're like, unlike any other mentorship that I've had, is their accountability is actually really high. Like we meet with them once a week, and I'd never done that. And I think that has helped. Another main thing that's helped a lot is you don't have a month to like do nothing, and scrape together. It's like week by week, you're having to make some change. But
there's a lot of power in the to-do list. Is like when you just have to say done or not done, and not say, oh, I didn't do it because of XYZ reason. And then it's like, if that same thing's appeared for a couple of weeks, it's like, okay, why? What are you doing? And why aren't you doing that? And it's there's a lot of power in that. Particularly when you're the boss and you don't have to answer to anybody. Like, nobody knows if I don't do this report this week. It's like you can just
they're holding you accountable. Yeah, and because being your own boss, you don't have anybody. You could sleep in, you could do all the things. You not write that check that you need to, not create that standard operating procedure that you don't need to, and it only just keeps you in that little bubble that of comfort. You need to have that person pushing you to get out of that comfort zone often. Just like, and it's no different than we tell all of our clients as well. So it's like taking some of your own medicine.
it is, but it's coaches need coaches, really. Mm-hmm. Like, we need someone to guide us, and not to tell us what to do, which is the beauty of what they do, but to ask us the right questions to make us realize that we actually have the answer. And that's what they do.
That's another thing. They get to know you, like you've said, and they ask you the right questions because they get to know you and who you are. So they're able to ask those questions and make you think differently, or think about the answer instead of them just, here it is.
Yeah. Here's a cookie cutter model. Mm-hmm. So after all your experiences, like the last 6 years you've owned, is it 6 years? 6 years?
Yeah, 14, 16. So 4.
Of all the things that you're doing now, what's something that if you were to look back and reflect that you wish you'd done sooner?
Probably we just got in. It's a huge discussion in our group right now, but the on-ramping process, I've gone back and forth from PT first to group model foundation classes to back and forth between those, and constantly. I mean, I think I had a group foundations class at one point for like $50 for like a whole month, like 12 classes for
Yeah.
$50 at one point. I think when I first bought the gym, that was it. So, and now I'm at, a $1,500 diagnostics price point, on ramp style, PT on ramp style. So I probably doing that sooner. Probably doing that a long time ago. Would have been something, getting away from the group sense and filling the classes and just getting sign up memberships, getting away from that, and then focusing more individual, like each person that sits down in front of me, getting to know them more, creating a better relationship with them than just trying to sign people up and get them into classes,
Yeah. Because that can turn into a bit of a revolving door.
Right. Yep. And it did. I mean, it did. It has. It's still, in the works, so it's not, completely that. But I think what has gotten me here, to that point is like that revolving door. Like I'm tired of seeing it revolve.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a hard road then, because you're like, well, I need to find more people to replace the people that are going in and going out. You just don't have that stability as well of consistent people and actually giving themselves an opportunity to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when I first opened, I had zero business insight. I went to school for geography, so I didn't know. I just knew I loved CrossFit, and I thought everybody would love CrossFit. So I just wanted to fill the gym, and it'd get full, and then we'd be empty, and then it'd get full again, and then it'd be empty, and that was draining. That's one of the hardest parts, because at no point, every person that walks in the door, you're giving them every bit of you, whether they actually want to give every bit of themselves or not. So
yeah. So if you were starting again on day one, what's one piece of advice you're giving to yourself?
Another one, I would have hired Chuck and Tony immediately, right off the bat. Just
before you even
get
open,
a coach to get you asking those questions right off the bat, and learning about yourself and learning about your why you're doing this. And I probably went at least like 2 to 3 years before I started seeking out some help. Because I thought I could do it myself. I'm like, I can figure this out. How complicated can this be? And then came to realize, like, wow, there's a lot more to this than, teaching an air squat. And so yeah, if, another thing, I would get a coach. Would have gotten a coach way sooner, and probably, you're going to make mistakes, but minimize the amount of mistakes. They mention all the time that, what you could do in 6 years, why can't you do it in 1 year? And a lot of that could have happened a lot quicker and sooner if I would have asked specifically for their help. Because I had other mentors, but another, gym gurus that are out there and everything, but none of them compared to actually like the relationship building that Fitfillia does.
Yeah. And that's been a powerful shift as well, is having that that it's okay to try things and that they not work, and you can bounce ideas around, rather than having that someone just say to this is the perfect way to run the affiliate, because your affiliate in Branson is very different to my affiliate, and the way that things work for you would not work in my gym, and the same as vice versa. So it's good to have that okay, we're looking at you as your whole, not the, just here's an affiliate model, here's best, put all this in. Because, I mean, I've tried those things as well, and you go, oh, this doesn't work for me, or this, and then you feel a bit like a failure because it didn't work. Yeah, well, it should work. It's worked for everybody else. So, that's the power in that. And also, having those conversations that make you go, oh, yeah, I didn't do that. I did do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, talking about the affiliate and getting back to those 4 freedoms, and, I know from, getting to know you and looking at your socials as well, like your time away is that you protect that fiercely. Do you find that you've also developed more scope or ability or bandwidth to look at the freedom of your purpose now and look into areas, expanding what you do beyond just the affiliate, looking at other opportunities to help people because you've got that base behind you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the more that I can get out of my business, and I mean, and help other people and other things, like, so we have our Avengers group, so that, if I'm not tied to my business, I have more time to help other affiliate owners, like yourself and like our other group that, the others that are in our group. I have time to be able to dedicate to them and help you guys. This year we've got a couple charity events that I'm wanting to do in the community, and put together. So getting out of the way of my business and not being stuck in here, giving my freedom, gives me time to, develop, those things in the community, that I want to do. It also gives me more freedom to, I'm looking at investing into commercial real estate right now. So that gives me more time to head into that venture, as well. All those things that, where at one point I thought I was just going to be teaching squats, and the entire time didn't realize and understand that I was building something way bigger, the entire time, than myself, than the gym.
Yeah.
So that's been eye opening in the last, 6 to 8 months as well.
Yeah, I guess Nomad Nathan didn't really think about becoming a commercial real estate.
Right. Like, how do I spend more time in a Van Dyne by the river? Oh, it's, spending less time working in your business, and more time working on your business so that you can, keep expanding, keep getting out of the way.
Yeah. Awesome. In your time, over your experience, what would you say, and it's probably a really big question, but, what's the biggest mistake that you've made that you feel in, the time that you've had been, in CrossFit in the business?
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a reactive person. I am a reactive person. So they, things that I'm learning with them is being proactive, is figuring out if things are problems or if they're really problems or I'm just making them a problem. And then trying to be a few steps ahead of things that are in my business. So I'm proactively trying to work on things instead of reactively working on things. So I've done a lot of stuff throughout my business, throughout my time that I've owned. It's very reactive and very emotionally driven. And so those mistakes, have cost me, whether it's making, quick decision on hiring, quick decision on firing, quick decisions on spending money in this direction or not spending money in this direction, and not taking any like actual metrics to make those decisions and making those decisions based on feelings. So there's tons of ways to track gym numbers out there, and I hate numbers. So the guys have like gotten me to dive into my numbers a lot more and more. And so that helps not making reactive decisions. I still do, and I'm still working on it. But it has given me more of a sense of comfort having those metrics in front of me, that I can look at and then make decisions based on that instead of how I'm feeling, because I wear my emotions on my sleeve with my members, with my team members here. And, so do they. Everybody shares their own feelings. And so when people are sharing feelings, then my feelings get involved. And then now you're making decisions based on that and not based on actual things. So that's been a pretty, big mistakes in my past, of making emotional decisions instead of based on actual tangible things. And the guys have helped me try to learn me out of that bad habit.
Because it's hard to get comfortable in the space of sitting with something and learning to respond and not react. And I'm a lot like you, where I just go into full, as Tony often says, chasing squirrel mode, trying to control things. But learning now, when something comes in, sit on it and then respond to it. Don't just react, and take the emotion out of it, and the any feelings that you have about what it is. It's just, here it is, and look at it as a fact, and okay, how do I deal with that in the best interest? So it's hard. It's a hard skill, isn't it?
It's so difficult. Yeah,
but we're all getting better at it.
Patience.
So how are you working to overcome that? Is it just through being conscious of the metrics, being reminded of it, or?
Well, you're only going to, it's like boxing. You're only going to get punched in the face so many times before you're like, I have to fix something. When you get, boxing is one of those things, you get punched right in the face, you immediately regret your decision. You only want that to happen to you so many times. And then you're like, I got to do something about this. And so, that's just, feel like I got punched in the face enough that I guess I learned the hard way. I learned by doing. I learned by being habitual about something, and again, I learned by through pain and suffering. And at a certain point, you don't want to get hit anymore, and so you start. Okay, this is the 9th time this has happened. I have to make a decision. That's better next time. And so I'm a slow learner. I guess I've got, I get punched in the face a lot and be like, I'm fine. And, but I keep moving, towards just, like having that patience, like you said, taking a step back, trying to think about the decision before making it, is how I've tried to overcome that, and why I've felt that I needed to overcome it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before we wrap up, there's a lot of affiliate owners that follow the podcast and are watching or listening. What's one piece of advice that you feel like that you could give an affiliate owner that might be spinning their wheels a bit, or wondering about their purpose? What's a piece of advice you could give them?
One, asking about their own beliefs and what type of person they want to be and who they think they want to be. If you don't see yourself as a CrossFit gym owner, and you don't believe that you're a CrossFit gym owner, you don't believe you have a higher purpose of helping people, it's going to be really hard for you to, when you get in a situation of desperate times, to keep going. But if you can, learn about yourself and learn exactly who you want to be and what you want and your reasons why, and we circle back around to that again, then that's gonna help you. And if be honest with yourself, if you're like, I really don't care if I'm a CrossFit affiliate owner, like I can find something else to do, then stop the suffering, move on. But you need to be honest with yourself, and learn about yourself and whether you want to do this or not. And if it's something you want to do, like, make the investment, get the help. It's painful to do that, but I guarantee you'll learn to then also start asking that of your clients. And when you start doing it yourself, making investments into yourself, asking for the help, you'll demand it from your clients. You'll expect it from your clients. And then that's only going to bring the level of you and your business up again.
Yeah, fantastic. That's wise, sage advice there, Nathan, after all of the punches to the face.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Thanks. That seems like a good note to wrap up on. Thanks for your time today, Nathan. Been awesome to chat to you.
Absolutely.
Keep being awesome.
Thank you, Lisa.